Hey guys, welcome to Talking Points Media. My name is Daniel Francis Hernandez. This is Giancarlo Malache, and this is James Miller. Be sure, before we do get any further, to hit that like, that subscribe, and that follow button. Share it with your friends, share it with your family, share it with whoever you need to share it with, but make sure you get Talking Points out there because we do appreciate you and we do appreciate that follow. Let us know what you want to see in the comments. Let us know what you want us to talk about. And be sure to answer our questions because we do have a few of them because we don't know everything except for me because I am omnipotent. Big word of the day. So we're going to talk a little bit about the hockey just because that's really what we know. And we will end up talking about a lot of sports here, but like just with the hockey being in its free agency and all these signings happening, the draft just happened. We're going to stick to that for now. Lakers won the NBA for anyone living under a rock. Nobody watched it anyway, so we'll tell you here. You heard it here first. All right, and look, he's already smirking. Look, 5.5 million people watched it. Their ratings were the lowest ever.
More Canadians watched the finals last year than all of America did this year. Fun fact.
Cheers. All right, so anyways, let's get right into it. All right, so we're gonna be talking. We'll talk. What do you want to do? Trades or signings? Or are we just gonna like blend them in together?
There's a lot of trade talk to cover.
All right, lots of trade talk. Let's go. So first trade that I'm gonna start off with, and I don't care what you guys have to say. We're going back to the Max Domi talk.
Max Domi talk. Max Domi goes to Columbus for Josh Anderson, and
Along with a fifth.
Yeah. So the main question is who wins, who loses, and why. So we'll kick things off with.
Go ahead, kid.
Well, as we've already gone over, but I'll do it again. I definitely think that, in my eyes, I said it before that we have to wait and see once the season gets going to make sure who's going to really win that trade in the end. But in my eyes, I think right now Columbus wins that trade. Sure, Montreal gets more size with Josh Anderson, but they're still, they gave him a 7-year deal, and he's been injured and hasn't really put up the points that they thought he should. And it's not like he's done much better than Max Domi for that to really make sense.
Yeah.
So for now, for me, it kind of was just a better trade for Columbus at the end of it.
I agree with you. I think so Max Domi is somebody I've drafted 3 years in a row in my fantasy pool, and only because he has been on an incline for I think his whole career at this point. And I think Montreal traded him at his highest point, and he's going to stay consistent for the next 4 to 5 years, I'd say. And I think Columbus wins ultimately, not to mention, I'm pretty sure, and here comes the pun again, but I think Tortorella maximizes Max Domi. He basically maximizes his potential, and it's yeah. I think ultimately Columbus wins by a long shot, and they're gonna. I would talk about this trade in 3 years from now, saying, they shouldn't have done that, right? But I still think they did what they had to do. They did trade size for tininess, basically, and yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Montreal wins it just because I don't like Max Domi. After he came out with all that nonsense talking smack about Toronto.
I think it was kind of funny.
He talked smack about Toronto, and he would be nothing. His name would mean nothing without Toronto.
Okay, but it was a play on words. He didn't mean anything like that. It's simply to create. I hope he talks more like that because it creates a rival that has been lost in Canadian hockey, basically.
No, I just hate Max Domi.
Yeah,
I hate the Canadians
that,
too, but I hate Max Domi more.
Fun fact for Montreal during their draft, they actually drafted one after the other was Alex Tuck's brother, Luke Tuck, and the next was I can't remember his first name, Jan Mysak. So it was Tuck Mysak was the 1-2.
I didn't.
That was there.
Ooh, we're an O away from it being hilarious.
So if they ever did the draft in order by naming them, it would be quite a
touch myself.
All right, but moving on now.
No, I'm not done. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Let me finish my Max Domi point here.
Sure.
I think Leafs now. Shit. I think the Canadians are going to do a little bit better off that trade, just from the size alone. I think they're going to have a decent player there in Joey Anderson. He's a young guy, unproven. Like, everyone wants to be like, who is this Joey Anderson guy? Well, that's exactly the thing. So, obviously, the Canadians are seeing something. I mean, they usually don't make absolutely horrible trades. I mean, they got rid of PK, and PK declined into nothingness.
It's Josh Anderson.
Josh Anderson, sorry. I'm thinking
Joey Anderson's the one we got.
I'm thinking, yeah, the Toronto
There's
trade.
a lot of Andersons in this league.
I know, honestly.
Was
what
it
the
6?
fuck? Can we get some new names here?
I mean, we have fucking 2 now. Freddie Anderson, now Joey Anderson.
Craig Anderson, Joey Anderson, yeah, Josh Anderson, like so many Andersons.
Mr.
Stay out of control.
Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Find some new names. Exactly. We had Lafreniere go first, and then Laferriere go like what 16th or something.
It's just so generic. Anderson and Smith.
Yeah.
John Smith.
Matt Murray gets traded from.
Murray.
Okay,
Why'd you say it like that?
Matt Murray.
Matt
Matt Murray. Matt Murray.
There is a Jedi.
Alright, so Matt,
Forrest Gump.
so he goes to Ottawa, and Ottawa trades Jonathan Gruden and a second-round pick, obviously by a long shot. Ottawa wins this trade, but yeah. So I think I said it from our last little canceled segment there. To kind of like provide full transparency on exactly what this trade is, right? Like, I go back to 2017, I believe, where Ottawa is in the semis, or basically the conference finals, with one goal away from the finals, and instead of that, they lose, and ever since then, they've gone straight to last place, and they're not an ounce, not a single ounce of good is coming out of it. And finally, Anderson is kind of relieved of his duties at this point, and Matt goes in, and I think this is the beginning.
Sorry. That was the year that was Bobby Ryan and started to sneak
It was
in
the
team,
it
right?
was
Corey Perry was never on Ottawa.
no, it was Bobby
Sorry,
Ryan.
yeah,
Bobby
Bobby
Ryan.
Ryan.
Bobby Ryan.
Bobby
Yeah.
Ryan.
Just Bobby. Boobies.
Yeah.
Just Booby.
Just Bobby Ryan.
I think it was either 2016 or 2017.
Was Marion Hossa still on the team?
On which team? Pittsburgh?
No, on Ottawa. Was he on?
No.
Wait,
What?
I just want to double check. He's the greatest player of all
I
time.
think that's like 20. I think that's like 2005.
Was it really?
Yes.
He's not playing anymore.
He played with
I
like
don't
Elferson.
understand.
He played with Elferson.
Stop trying to put him in seasons where he didn't exist.
Yeah.
Let him play.
I'm
Let him play.
I'm drafting host of this year. 100%.
I think he's actually still on.
Anyway.
I think he's on LTIR.
Yeah. So one goal from
Forever. he's done. His equipment told him to stop playing. That's kind of insensitive, but it's true.
Let's see.
The Murray trade. Sorry, I'm just gonna carry on with that one. I'm really curious though, like why. Like, I understand. Like, it's Tristan Yarry is the backup, right? Just double check.
Well, he's going to be the number one now.
Okay, so yeah, so Tristan Yarry was the backup.
starter.
Great goalie.
Crazy, eh?
Yeah.
I think he's an insane goalie in my opinion. But to dump a guy that's brought you to Stanley Cup,
Whoa.
did he not bring him to Stanley Cup?
Now, that's shades of gray.
Yeah.
I would say Marc-Andre Fleury, which the first season that Matt Murray was actually on the team, brought them to the playoffs.
Okay.
Okay? Matt Murray took over, and yes, he ultimately won the Stanley Cup.
But this
And then the second year,
Was
they
it
split
Fleury?
the duties, but Fleury was the one that played to the playoffs
Yeah.
and got them far.
Right.
And then Matt Murray came back. Fleury had a bad game. They put Matt Murray in and never looked back. Which, hey, at the end of the day, he won the cup.
Okay,
It is what it is.
but what
But Marc-Andre Fleury was still an integral part of that team.
But what I'm trying to say is Pittsburgh has been a competitive team even since the Fleury days. Since they traded Fleury, they've still been competitive, and that's with Matt Murray behind them.
Yeah,
so
well,
what I'm saying is my curiosity is why they would choose to move him, because it's not like he's playing badly. I'm wondering, was there a free agent out there that they were looking at that they needed to free up cap for, and they either are still talking to them or they signed with another team, and now it's an unfortunate trade.
I mean, that's a very possibility. I think they just wanted to free up some,
This looks like a cap
they
space
wanted to free
move.
up some room so
Yeah.
that they could do what they want to do. There's still good players on the free agent list that they can look at. There's always options, right? Again, I still think for Ottawa that this is a low risk move for them. I know I've seen a few people say, should they have signed him to what they signed him to? Maybe not. But, I mean, at the end of the day, he's a goalie that's won 2 cups. He's played well, and he's young. He's not old, so he's got room to improve.
Matt Murray's a great pickup.
And
I think that's
Ottawa's-
the best they can do right now.
Ottawa's got some pretty
Yeah.
good defensive talent right now that needs to obviously improve.
Yeah, and
Nikita Zaitsev?
Okay, I'm not talking about Zaitsev.
No,
I'm glad we got rid of him.
but I mean,
You know.
and honestly, it's like I think Pittsburgh, like just that move from a Pittsburgh point of view.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Who he's actually talking about, the player that is his favorite on Ottawa. Connor Breezy?
You don't talk about my boy.
Connor Brown.
But to me,
Connor Breezy.
that was a mistake letting him go from Toronto. I firmly believe that.
It's true.
Great penalty killer,
That's true.
hard worker.
Yeah.
Got buried on that team on third and fourth lines where he should never have been.
He
You know,
had
Well, third line's fine, but
Was
put
it
him
this?
with the
Yeah,
right
it was
guys.
this year. The first like quarter of the season. This guy is like ranking up. The
Yeah, he was
points.
one of the top
Well,
players.
he,
It was
you know what it is?
crazy.
First few weeks.
I wouldn't say he had amazing line mates. Which he had good line mates. I think he played with Brady Tkachuk
Yeah.
and I can't remember who the other player was he was playing with, but they were clicking. But the thing is that when you give a player the minutes, it's going to
Well,
happen. I mean,
obviously.
we've seen that in
Yeah.
Toronto time and time again with
It's-
guys like Antropov, guys like Stajan,
Yeah,
who put up
yeah.
40 points in a season, and we think they're amazing
So-
because they're getting 25 minutes a game.
Even
or something
I
stupid.
picked up Connor Brown for that segment
Yeah.
in my pool because like you just have to think it's like okay, Ottawa's shit, but it's like someone's got to score the goals, like someone,
Yeah.
right? And and
Well, I think he put up 20, I think, this season, I believe.
Something like
I think
that.
he got around there, but
Right,
he
but-
put up a good 45 points maybe around. Like I think he was
Yeah.
close to 50 potentially. I don't recall exactly his statistic output.
All right, so
Let's-
let's round up that thought. We're all going Ottawa wins that trade.
Ottawa wins that trade, and Pittsburgh
I think
Yeah.
is doing some stupid stuff with
Pittsburgh's making some interesting
with their
moves.
assets. Like they're doing some stupid.
But
How
they-
could you win 2 Stanley Cups in a row for the first time since Detroit, 97-98, and then you trade away both of those goalies back to back years.
But they did get the ghost, the Captain Ghost,
You know.
Kasperi. They got Kasperi.
Yeah, Casper. Yeah.
I like
sad
I
to see,
like
I'm
the
sad
way
to
he
see
plays,
him
but
go.
Yeah.
I was disappointed to see him go.
He's got a little grit in his game. I like
Yeah.
the way he plays.
But that's the thing is we traded away our grittiest player to pick up some better grit, so I'm gonna take that.
Yeah.
All right, next trade. Let's go. Let's not get off topic.
Okay,
boys.
Wayne Simmons.
Woo!
We picked him up. I
The
think
grit, as we were just talking
That's
about.
an obvious win for the Leafs. I think
Everyone,
if
got beers.
if his purpose is to enforce, there's been roles where he hasn't enforced like he did in Philadelphia. But I think this move is strictly for a Toronto enforcement, and I think he goes straight on the checking line. And I think his a good point season is just a bonus to the Leafs. We are relying on our top 2 lines to truly get us the points as we have for the last 2 seasons.
I've got a comment and then a question, so bear with me here.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about that interview that I read. So the interview that I read basically said, he's had multiple surgeries. He's got 3 different big injuries. I think it's MCL, hip, and shoulder. And he's had surgeries on all of them. He's been rehabbing the entire time that they've been out of the playoffs. And he's feeling the best that he'll ever be. So Wayne Simmons can score. He's good in front of the net. He's like the opposite of what everyone calls Nylander, the perimeter player. He's not a perimeter player. He's in your face. He'll go to that net. So that begs my question. So you said a checking line. But if you had to put him on a line with the lineup the Leafs currently have, who's on that line with him?
Well, if I'm the coach, I'm putting him top 2 simply to level out the grit, right? Because we don't have any on the top 2, none. Okay.
No.
And
So you're saying Marty McSorley him for Mitch Marner?
The closest thing you get to grit on that top line, which I still don't believe he should be there, is obviously Zach Hyman, because he plays that aggressive in the corner game.
yeah,
I think he's a great, effective player.
yeah,
In my eyes, he is not a fucking second line player. He should be down on the third line in a checking line role. You put Zach Hyman, Wayne Simmons, and a guy like, if it depends who we're keeping here. The trades aren't done. Kerfoot or someone like an Engvall.
yeah.
Jason Spezza.
So, those are situations where you're going to see him in those kind of roles.
But I want to see hits. It's kind of exciting that we're.
Well,
gonna
that's
see some
his game,
Toronto
right? And
hits,
I think the greatest thing, because obviously the last few seasons he hasn't put up the point production that people want to see.
Who?
Wayne Simmons, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
And
Well,
the thing
injuries,
is,
right? Injuries.
the thing is that also on top of the injuries, but it's the money he was getting paid, and that's why teams like you know, the analysts and everybody are saying, like, you know, this guy, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like he's getting $5 million and he can't even put up, you know,
Yeah,
19
he did
goals,
have a
you know
couple.
what I
He
mean?
had a couple of really good seasons with Philadelphia, right? And I think he's still in time to truly like get back to those times.
As long as he's healthy.
Yeah,
as long as he's healthy.
Healthy is everything. It's always
See,
everything.
and that's the thing too, right? Happy, healthy. Him being in Toronto, I think, makes him happy.
Homeboy.
And-
He's from Scarborough.
It's
Homeboy.
low risk, 1.5 million.
Yep.
If this guy manages to somehow put up 50 points, I'm happy.
You know,
Yeah.
he wants to be here.
Yeah.
You look at a guy like Spezza last year; he's getting the league minimum, 700,000 or whatever it is.
It's low.
Yeah.
He's
It's
making
low.
$700,000, and he put up 27 points in 58 games, I believe it was. You know, on a fourth line.
And I mean,
He got some power play time at times, but I mean, for the most part, he was scoring 5 on 5.
And honestly, all this talk means nothing if we can't win a series. And Spezza was, arguably our top 3 best players in that 1 5-game series.
Exactly.
that we
Oh,
had.
and don't forget the playoffs last year or the year before that too. It was like him and
He wasn't there.
No, he wasn't there. He
Okay.
wasn't there.
No,
No, he wasn't. No, he
Thomas
wasn't.
Buchanan.
You're thinking about like Patrick Marleau was
Jason
there.
Spezza got benched
Yeah.
for his first Toronto Maple Leaf game.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just having my
Yeah.
senior moments today.
That was a
Yeah.
Babcock moment, which
Yeah.
Yeah, but
not
no,
a good choice.
I'm sorry, but just on the lines of talking about Maple Leaf grit, this offseason, I want to see Austin Matthews doing one thing and one thing only while he's doing his off-season training, is literally just watching constant replays of what's his fucking name, Nathan McKinnon. Pick up his style of play, and oh my God.
I would
Oh my
actually, to be honest with you, and I know I've argued with people about this too, I would like to see Austin Matthews find his way into that Ovechkin type game. That learn to
Okay, that's step 2.
just
That's
I
step
want
2.
to see him
I
start.
want to graduate.
He's a big boy. If you put some
That's
bulk on,
what I'm saying.
and starts just
Nobody has
Not even
bigger.
you have to kill
Nobody
him.
has bigger
Because
shoulder
Ovechkin's
pads.
a big boy.
Nobody's got bigger shoulder pads in the Leafs than Austin Matthews, and it's honestly.
He's got thick shoulders.
I love the guy. People who know
Wind
me.
goes wrong direction,
People
dislocates.
who know me know I shit on Austin Matthews only because like you have shoulder pads like that, and it's not even for like getting involved like physically. It's just you ever see him where like he's skating along towards the puck, but he doesn't have it, and the other team has it, or another player has it, and it's perfectly lined up for a hit, right?
It doesn't
And
throw.
there is never, you know when you're watching it, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, you're gonna get a follow through, right? It's like watching like I don't know, like a car race, and there's gonna be an obvious accident, and then it doesn't happen. It's so he's such an anticlimactical like player, and it really makes me mad. It's like then just lower,
I think
take out the shoulder pads.
if you
you'll
watch-
skate faster.
If you watched last
And then you blow his
you
shoulder
know
out
what, though?
again.
If you
You know?
watched last season, that was my actual gripe with Toronto, and I think that
The
was
whole
their,
team.
That was their problem in a
The whole
nutshell. Was that it's the puck's in the corner. You know, they start skating at the guy.
Yeah.
If that guy lets go of the puck, what does every coach tell you?
Finish
Finish your
Finish
fucking
your
hits.
check.
Finish
When
your
you
hit.
put a hit on a guy, it doesn't matter if it's the hardest hit.
Yeah.
We
You don't
play
have to level.
non-contact
But
hockey. We
just
finish our
put him
hit.
in the boards. Because you know why? Because it makes you think twice.
But it's not even that.
And that's why these teams started to realize that we're not going to touch them.
I know.
And that's why it was so easy for them to just
Yeah.
keep hitting us
Do you know
and
how
keep
many?
playing hard.
Do you know how many times I'm watching? And it's like, hey, he didn't finish the hit, and I'm telling everyone who's in the room, okay, watch. They're gonna score because of that guy. He
Yeah.
didn't finish the hit. The puck never gets cleared.
Exactly.
And then they end up. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a mentality too. It's a negative reinforcement you're giving to that team.
And that's where, this, Dubas wanting to build
Yeah.
Dubas wanting to build a team of skilled guys. That's okay, but at the same time, you need those guys that are going to finish checks and get in there. And obviously, he's kind of learned that because we see the moves that he's made.
Right.
Bogosian, Simmons. Talking about other players out there. Even TJ Brody's got a little more.
Oh,
of a good game.
I'm so happy to see TJ Brody.
I was about
that
to
was
say,
exciting.
yeah.
exciting.
I was about to say,
exciting
moving
player.
along and staying on the Leaf topic. TJ Brody becomes a Leaf. Another homeboy, right?
Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Well, he's from Chatham, and
Well, all right,
I
Ontario.
mean, I'm out there quite frequently, and
Ontario
it's,
boy, right?
usually Detroit fans out there, but luckily,
Yeah.
he's
Sorry,
not.
there's also
Yeah.
a big meth problem in Chatham too, but we won't
Well,
talk
that's
about
not
that.
that's not TJ Brody.
I mean, that's a small town.
That's why they cheer for Detroit.
I think that's good. I mean, that's a nice. I think it's a nice replacement for the Tyson Berry that we didn't get. That real Tyson Berry.
Yeah.
right? So I think that's a nice.
What happened with Tyson Berry? I can't remember. Did
He
fuck off?
signed. No, he signed to.
He signed to Edmonton. 1 year.
Oh shit! Right.
Yeah.
1 year for I think.
Isn't that weird?
I think around
Yeah.
4. I
I
think
couldn't remember off the
4.5.
top of my head what happened with him, and I was like, did Tyson Berry just ride off into the
He
sunset?
pretty much went on a play for your next contract,
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
You got a
that's what
bridge
he
deal.
did.
Yeah.
which to me I think it's a decent move for Edmonton, but I still don't know if that's going to be the player that they need at the end of the day.
But you know, it's just weird. It's like, what did they sign him for that 1 year?
1 year, I think it was. I believe it's 4.5 around that area. It's around.
Okay,
4
you know
million,
that's
I think.
fair because you're talking about a guy.
He wanted 8 million, but he's
But
not getting 8
it was
million
what? It
after
was
that
2 years in
season.
a row. This guy got like 70 points as a defenseman.
No, I think he's a consistent around 50 point.
Yeah,
player,
but he was
I
putting
believe.
like 20 goals. That's why.
But he was getting a lot of those goals on the power play.
Yeah.
And I mean, you look at Colorado's power play, and I mean, it's pretty
That's
stacked.
why I'm saying Matthews. Just watch,
Right.
watch, open your eyes. McKinnon. He's not. That's step one. Then we go to Ovi.
So there's that. So I think for the Leafs, that's a good wrap up.
Taylor Hall goes to the Sabres. $8 million for 1 year. So I have 3 theories about this. 3. But I'm kind of curious to hear what these guys have to say before I get in there, because I'm going to just take my...
Well, why don't you say
What are we
one,
looking for? An opinion on why he went there?
say one theory, and we'll play off that.
All right, so...
One theory.
All right, I'll go on my first theory. So Taylor Hall, everyone's kind of talking about how this guy, you know, he signed with Buffalo, and oh my God, like why would he go to such a trash team? This, that, and the other. Personally, so I have this point of view about Taylor Hall as well. I think he's cancerous in a change room here. Every team he seems to go to just seems to. Arizona was like the one exception, but that team was gross to start with. But, you know, he's no longer there. So I think, and this is my point of view, is he's trying to shed a stigma of being this cancerous guy in the change room. And I think that's why he went to Buffalo, because you see a guy like Jack Eichel, who everyone in the league knows is a bit of a dickhead. He's a little bit too much about himself, the curly-headed fuck. Like, honestly. So, like, he sits there and, like, you know, post-game interviews, like, thrashing his own teammates, talking shit about them, never has anything bad to say about himself, thinks he's the greatest player of all time. Well, now, if you're Taylor Hall and you go sign with that team, well, if you can even budge them off, like, where did they finish? Like, second last? Something like that?
Yeah.
No,
If you can-
they finished higher. They actually missed the extended playoffs by like a point.
Okay, but either way, if you can budge them even slightly forward, and you can work with a guy like Jack Eichel, at that point, it makes you look like less of a cancer in that change room. And it's going to make you shed your stigma. But I have 2 more, and my last one's the best one. But like,
Okay.
I want to hear what your thought
Okay,
is on that
I
stigma.
want to play off the stigma, so I
Yeah.
want to bring to light the Taylor Hall curse. We all know what this is, right?
Yeah.
I kind of forget the whole dialogue, but it basically has to do with drafts, right? And every team he go and here we are again back to a last place team draft, right? And I don't know, like did Buffalo? No, the draft picks were already picked, right?
Yeah.
They're already okay. But anyway, it's just
Rangers got it.
so maybe bring our audience a little bit of enlightening of the curse. So what is it exactly?
Arizona kind of got cursed because they lost literally their first round picks by trading for Taylor Hall.
Right. Right.
And then they lost more because of their own stupidity.
Uh-huh.
Because
were
they
Training
were
camping prospects.
at the combine, which is not okay.
Yeah, no.
And,
So-
they lost a first, a second, and I think another second the next year or something
So
like that.
all of the first round picks that the first pick that Edmonton got, what is it, 3-4 years in a row or something like that? Taylor Hall was the beginning of that. So why was Edmonton cursed in regards, according to the curse?
Just because, like, basically, it becomes a team that can't win, even though they've got decent firepower, like with himself included. But they keep like wrangling high picks, like Nail Yakupov, like McDavid, Hall. All these guys were in there, and you know you're looking at Nail Yakupov, like nail him to the bench, like that. Nail Yakupov is like the
And then
outlier in that because he's.
And then it was
Hopkins.
New Jersey ended up getting, I think, like 2
Yeah.
first round picks while he was there in a row, which was Nico
That's right.
Hischier and Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
Nico Hischier gross.
He's good. He's good. I wouldn't say he's.
I like Nico.
He's a
Hischier.
great player, but I mean,
Well, yeah.
he's got a little bit to go. He's got to really figure it out.
Okay, so
Same with Jack Hughes. I mean, he didn't have a great season. Neither did Capo Caco. So those are two guys that need to really pick it up next season and figure it out.
So what was?
All right, so you want me to go with my second one?
Yeah,
okay,
let's go
so
with the second
again, like this whole comment is on at Hockey Illuminati's post today about it, the discussion about it. So check him out if you guys haven't taken a look. Going back to the money, looking at Taylor Hall and $8 million, and everyone's kind of like, well, Colorado was in the talks. Like, why wouldn't Colorado match that? And there's multiple teams that were talking to him that wanted to, have him sign with them. I think this is part of his idea, and me being Taylor Hall, I don't think it's a necessarily bad one either. Is the cap got frozen this year due to COVID, due to the pandemic, and just basically because the NHL wasn't making the revenue, it had to up the cap. So now you're betting on yourself. And this is exactly what I had the conversation with.
Who's betting on it?
Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall.
I like this is the conversation that the Hockey Illuminati brought up, and it was just like, look, man, like he's betting on himself. Is this a good or bad idea? I mean, it's not a bad idea, but he's also betting on the future of the NHL. Basically saying like, COVID, the pandemic, all of this is not going to affect next season, and that there's going to be an increase in the salary cap come the 21-22 offseason. So now he signed a 1-year deal worth $8 million. Now he can turn around to any team, because he's on UFA again, and look for bigger money. I think what he was getting offered was like big money from teams, 7 mil, 8 mil, but for long contracts. And he's thinking more along the lines of, look, more teams are going to have more money next year, and I could possibly sign with someone for longer and, and get more money later on. Like, just by holding off for 1 year. I'll take my 1-year deal, I'll put up some points,
Right.
and I'll say good enough.
So okay.
Yeah, that's one of them, and I've got my last one. My last one's a little more. I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on, but we'll wait for that one.
I think a reason he went there is kind of because he's gonna get the opportunity. He's obviously gonna get the big minutes. He's gonna get big minutes. He's gonna get a lot of playing time, and he's gonna be playing with a high-end talent like Jack Eichel.
Right.
Like him or hate him, like him or hate him,
I think
he's a great player. Maybe his attitude isn't really the best. I mean, I've had my quarrels with seeing things in the media and things that have been said about him and this and that. But, that's just personal situations. I mean, if you get the chance to play with a guy, especially, Taylor Hall's a left-hand shot, Eichel's a right-hand shot. And that's something, it might sound stupid, but that's the kind of thing to look at.
Aren't they both centers, though, or am I wrong?
No, Taylor Hall is not a center.
He's not? Okay, I couldn't remember.
And Jack Eichel, I believe, is a winger as well.
Who's their center? Skinner, right? Jeff Skinner?
I don't know if Jenner's... I'm not sure what their lineup looks like.
Nonetheless, the Eichel Hall could be a... Honestly, this could develop the next NHL
and they do
lethal duo.
They do have a lot of draft picks that, and players that are already in their system. You know what I mean? Like Casey Middlestat. He's a good young player.
Gross.
But we'll see where they get, right? Some of these players just don't find their way, man.
I see.
Rasmus Dahlin's another kid that, he's on the back end, but being out there on a power play with those guys, you know what I mean? Is
Ristolainen still on Buffalo?
I believe he's still there.
God, can we go get Ristolainen?
No, we got Zach Bogosian instead.
But I want Ristolainen as well.
Yeah.
But we got Bogosian for cheap, too. So.
We got Bogosian.
Anyways.
But yeah, I see Buffalo making maybe one, possibly two more like decent to really good moves to truly complete a Buffalo revival. Not to mention like even that the city of Buffalo has not celebrated something in a very long time.
I'm sure.
Oh, they celebrated some snowfall.
I'm sure being in Buffalo, being close to just Ontario as a whole, was probably a factor as well. Just being close to the area, you can go to Niagara, you can go, you can get to Toronto.
Is he a Toronto boy? Is Hall in Toronto? I don't think so.
Don't think he is, but I mean, just being closer to Canada in that aspect, right?
Is he Canadian?
He is Canadian.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
I'm not sure exactly where he's from. I can't recall.
Right, another Canadian.
Yeah. All right.
Holtby.
No, hold on. I want to get my last one out.
Oh yeah, the last.
And this one has a little bit more of like a malcontent behind it, and I'm really curious whether I'm just being hyper paranoid.
Oh yes, he's gonna say he was abducted by aliens. They swapped his brain, and he's not sure what he's doing.
The probe. No,
some people for sure think that's.
I think Marian Hossa is living inside.
He's taking
Marian Hossa is Elvis. No.
The whole time.
Or Elvis is Marian Hossa.
Yeah.
No. Anyways, Anyway, so my point is this:
But wouldn't I mean if it was actually Elvis, wouldn't he be kind of going for basketball then? You know, trying to take over the.
no, just silence with you. Silence with you. So my whole this is my point, and like again, it might be really paranoid, malcontented, but like I'm also looking at Taylor Hall has kind of always had this little storybook behind him, and he's always been the great player that's played on mediocre to terrible teams. Like, you know, like Edmonton when he was there, unfortunately, was not a team that was ready to be a cup contender. No.
Well, no,
they had firepower.
Hold on.
No.
They were a team that looked like they were ready to be a cup contender, but their problem was they literally all came in around the same time. They were young kids, and all they wanted to do was party.
Okay.
And I know someone came out, I'm not going to name his name, but he came out and said that that's what the issue was when he was there as the captain. And it caused a lot of problems because those kids, all they wanted to do was just party, and they would come the next game and be hungover and not doing well. And that's a big reason why they never win.
I want to hear this.
So then Taylor Hall leaves. He goes to New Jersey.
Yeah.
All right. So New Jersey again, a team that
down in the shitter.
In the shitter.
All right.
You got Corey Schneider who couldn't stop a fucking like puck if his life depended on it. Like he's got a team that just isn't there. Like I think their best player when he was there was like Zajac.
Yeah. And then they got PK Subban.
But PK. All right, so like,
I'm just saying.
Listen, no, everyone thought PK was going to be good, but he went to shit in Nashville. But anyways, and then he married Lindsey Vonn.
I mean, he went to the finals in Nashville, and you know, I think 1 or 2 years, and then they got traded. Yeah, he got traded.
Anyways, so
he played pretty well there at the start, and then he just started losing.
So again, but like, so we're talking Taylor Hall being this elite level player that's just on teams that just aren't there, and you know, and everyone's sort of like, you know, they give Taylor Hall like the pandering handhold, like, come Taylor, it's okay, buddy. It's okay, bud. It's not your fault. You're okay, buddy. Don't worry. Then you go to Arizona, a team that is in cup contention, and you play. All right, fine. Now you're a UFA. What do? You go to another team that's mediocre, that really won't go that far, and you carry on kind of your same storyline that you've done your entire career. So this is what I'm saying. He signs a 1-year deal. He's going to go to Buffalo. He's going to put up some points. He's going to get Buffalo a little bit better. And then he's going to turn around as a UFA and sign with someone else. Big money, big years. And he's going to ride off in the sunset as a fucking mediocre player that's never done dick. And I think that's what's actually happening. I think he just wants to carry on his storyline, make enough money that he can sign for a 7-8 year deal and retire at 36 and say, fuck me, I'm done with this sport.
See, but now that's the thing. Now you question. Are there players that just chase money and just want to kind of live the lifestyle and enjoy, you know, the fruits of being in the NHL and being that big name, like, oh my God, you put up 60, 70 points a season, like you're a really good player, you know, and then you have those guys that want to win a cup. That's their goal, and if they don't get it, they retire. So I wouldn't say, you know.
I would say between what he's saying and then what you're saying, there's one ultimate question. Do we think that Taylor Hall wants or gives a shit about winning a cup?
No, I don't.
You know what? Only because I want to know, did he get traded to Phoenix?
Yes.
He got traded or he signed?
No, he got traded.
He got traded.
Traded.
So Phoenix, out of the 4 teams he's been with, is the only one he did not sign to. The other 3, I mean, and Edmonton is he got drafted, right, and all that stuff. But yeah, it just.
But he did re-sign with Edmonton.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like he makes a little bit more of a point based on the evidence, right? And I honestly speaking, I think the guts of what we don't see inside the hockey culture in the dressing room, when you go sign the papers, the way they deal between manager to player, not to mention Taylor Hall has a manager, right? And he does most of the managing. And then they say, I'm sure they sit them down and say, okay, what do you want in your 20 years here, right? We need to know because we need to get to that. Mm-hmm. We need to get you that 8-year contract if you want it, right? Or do you want a cup? Whatever you want, I'll direct you there, type of thing, right?
See, that's the funny thing is where I'll kind of say with him, where he has a point, where he probably doesn't give a shit because these guys, that's why a guy like Pietrangelo signed a 7-year deal.
Yeah.
Because they want the term, they want to make sure that they're going to keep making money. Mm-hmm. It seems like this kid just is like like I could just sign 1-year deals at $8 million every year because I put up the points, so they're going to keep.
Yeah.
Well, I think it goes back to my first point is it's coming to the cap. So the cap's going to go up. He's going to get a bigger deal next year. So he's got 8 years, $8 million for 5, 6, whatever years he gets offered. Or you take a 1-year deal, you sign a big fucking contract next year, you ride off into the sunset being Taylor Hall.
We are seeing a lot of 1-year contracts for some pretty decent players.
And I think that's the thing is because
I think
these guys are waiting on. I think they're waiting on the cap to go up.
I'm gonna officially say Dan's onto something.
Yeah.
Bam!
But some of the contracts have been signed is because of they're one of those like we're not sure what you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like Tyson Berry. Hey, we could sign this guy to 1 year,
Edmonton.
4.5.
Yeah.
He's either gonna put up,
Right.
60, 70 points,
Right.
or he's gonna put up 20, and we'll go, we tried.
Yeah, they're probably looking like everyone's back to after all this break because everyone's had this long ass motherfucking break. Not to mention we don't even know if the NHL comes back in January, right?
Yeah,
This
never.
break is going to heal all wounds, heal all injuries and time and all this stuff. Everyone, or at least these players, are saying, you know what? When I come back, I gotta kill it. I gotta kill it for 1 year to set myself up. All right. Yeah, myself up.
You stuttered there and you were just like,
I'm gonna keep it. Right?
I'm keeping it.
I'm keeping it.
I like
Set
it.
myself up with to push hard for I think that's the plan because a lot of these guys they have their managers. That's the manager job, right? I'm taking care of the money thing. I'm gonna put you in a position to make money, right? That's their job, and because the managers make a decent cut, obviously.
100%.
So
So this is my other question though is like, and I mean it's just a question like we can just go around and say yes or no. You don't have to get too deep into it, but still on the topic of Taylor Hall. Taylor Hall makes $8 million. All right, he's making some big fucking money. Like he's comparable to a lot of players that are in the top of the NHL. If you had to pick your top 20 forwards in the NHL, would Taylor Hall be in there?
there's
again,
a lot of ties. When you get to the 20th place, there's going to be like 10 people to pick from.
Again, that's a hard fucking discussion to have because
All right, so let's cut it down to 15.
But I'm saying as each year comes in, you got these new players coming in. And some of these
personally-
guys are
Okay, he's
like,
not in the top 10. He's
let's
not in the
face it.
top 15.
No, let's
I'm
face
saying
it.
I'm saying he's definitely in the top. Let's say 45.
Okay,
He's
so
in there because of the point.
But 20
production.
to 45 is like
yeah,
is
but
like
do you-
baby
But,
steps.
Do you
but
believe
a
that
few
he's-
years removed,
Yeah.
he definitely was in that, not top 10. I'd say the top
Sure,
1.
sure.
But do you honestly believe that he's worth the $8 million? That was kind of more the question.
For
I'm leaning
Buffalo, yes.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
as a Buffalo market, or like, hey, you have to understand, like, again, the entire city of Buffalo sucks. It sucks. No, I'm saying like it's. No, I'm talking sports wise.
Sorry, Bills.
No, the sport. No, hey, Buffalo Bill fans.
That was a Buffalo blow.
Buffalo Bill fans will obviously agree with me. Okay.
No, they won't.
They have.
I don't think they
Sure they
will.
will. Sure they will. They all know Buffalo's cursed.
I'm sure there's somebody like that son of a bitch.
Go ahead. By all means. What have you celebrated in the last 30 years?
Here. He lives in Bolton.
Right. They haven't
They
celebrated nothing.
celebrated really big
Okay.
snowfall.
When was other?
Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
What do you
I said it earlier.
I'd block you out. I'm going to listen.
Right. I mean, even
From one year out the other.
listen. Not to rip on them, they are our little, American, immediate neighbors, but like, the city's like dark. If you just
Oh
drive-
my God! Just leave Buffalo alone.
It's dark. It's dark and sad, man.
They have no lights. They have no
They have no
What are they
lights.
going to do?
Now they've
Turn
got
on
Taylor
some
Hall.
lights. Turn on some
The
lights.
kids are selling fucking
But yeah,
bottles
no,
off the street.
Taylor Hall will sell jerseys. They'll sell merchandise. You'll get your money back for. And
Taylor Hall will resurrect the city.
So
That's it. That's all it is.
Sorry,
It's
so then-
really all it is.
I had one other point in regards to Taylor Hall. So like this sort of.
So point number 4 now.
No.
I'm just picturing like the owner like in a dark hood. Taylor just signed.
No, he's not going to revive the city. It's much more on a managerial for Buffalo. It's like
His fingers.
on a managerial decision. It's like, yeah, Taylor Hall's the best player we can get right now, right? He's going to sell the tickets. I mean, what, buddy? At 1 p.m. on a Saturday, I got front row tickets to a Buffalo Sabres game at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. and they were $50. And when I got there, the entire row up front, right behind.
Well, I'll tell you right now, they
was
weren't playing
empty.
the Leafs because it would have been
Empty.
fucking 150
and
bucks.
it was the Leafs. Yes, it was the Leafs.
Oh, was it really?
Yes, it was.
Oh, well.
Okay, $50 at 1 p.m. I called my friend. You want to go Buffalo? Yeah, okay, let's go. We got there right at game time.
You know what they don't have in that motherfucker?
What do they have?
All dressed chips.
I thought he was gonna say Marian Hossa.
No, they don't have any no, so
I
it's
believe it's dressed all over, but
dressed all with Marion Hosey. Not at all.
what? How did Marian Hossa come in
He
here?
can't wear the equipment. He's not dressed. Get it? Yeah, fuck off. He's like Lee's original. All right. Anyways, leave Marion Host out of this. So my other question that is more of a question, and like I'm going to address it to our viewers. We don't necessarily have to answer it. We can come back to it in our next one. Is in regards to Taylor Hall. Like I asked the question: is he a top 20 player? No. We all kind of agree like he's on the cusp at the best. All right. So my thing is why do we sit there and talk about Taylor Hall like this guy is actually great? Like, the Canadian media loves to talk about him. He thinks the fucking best thing next to Marian Hossa. I mean, sliced bread, because Marian Hossa is the greatest. But no, anyways. So
Yes, he's the greatest at being retired.
it is the thing. So my issue is with the Canadian media is we look at these players and we say, he's a Canadian boy. He's fucking amazing. He's great. And then they hype up this guy like he's actually something worthwhile. Example, like Zion in basketball. Zion's a decent player, but did he do dick for his team? Nah, no.
Because his team was terrible.
Okay, exactly. So we're going the Taylor Hall route already. So, you know what I mean? So this is my question. Does the Canadian media hype up Canadian players who are just meh?
Well, it's kind of their job.
No, it's not true.
Well,
You are there to report the sports and the points, and that's why
But
we
it's-
made talking points, baby.
But it's
Woo!
a Canadian network, so they're going to have to do that. That's just
We're
the
a
way it
Canadian
is.
network too, but
We're
Taylor
not-
Hall's a great player.
Marian Hossa's the
Any team would benefit from Taylor Hall's presence. Okay, he puts the points on, he gets the goals. It's like statistically he's fine. All right, it's just on the theory that of what he's saying about why he makes the decisions that he makes. There is some evidence there based on.
I still think we as Canadians are sort of subjected to believe he's better than what he is. But again, the
No,
question
he's
is,
exactly what he is. He's not better than what he is.
I think
he is exactly what he is. He
I think
gets
that's
you
the
70
question.
points plus a year. Like he's fine.
I think
mean,
that's
his production slowed down a little bit over the last
I think-
couple, but I mean, he's been on some pretty.
It's shitty teams, right?
I just say
And injuries.
no,
And
hold on,
injuries.
just hear me out. No, I think we leave it in their hands.
Yeah, we'll leave it there.
Is it the media is blowing up players like Taylor Hall, or is it they're actually good and I'm just a fickle bitch?
Right. And then last, so I think we spent enough time on Taylor Hall.
Yeah, sorry.
You can talk about it in the comments. We'll love to talk with you. Also, the next big transaction, Vancouver picks up Braden Holtby.
I still think it's a mistake.
I don't, not at all. I think Vancouver ultimately wins.
I think Holtby's over the hill.
They improved their goalie, even though Markstrom was great and he was improving. He was definitely on an incline, and was even in the talks for goalie of the year. But was he a runner-up? No, Markstrom.
Oh, Marshall. Yeah, I believe
He was a runner-up, right? He was a nominee, right?
The winner, I think, was
Hellebuck.
Was it Hellebuck?
Yeah,
Hellebuck won,
Vezina, yeah.
I know it was Vasilevsky was in there, and you may be right. Marshall might have been.
Might have been in there just because he did a really
played
strong
really well.
campaign. I'm pretty sure he played over 50 games.
I think you know what I don't even to be honest I don't think Marshall was one of the finalists because I think it was Tuukka Rask, Vasilevsky, and
I could be wrong, but I know that he was in the talks. Like he should be there.
I still think letting a goalie like Markstrom go is a mistake. Like Thatcher Demko, listen, Thatcher Demko is a great goalie. He will be good, but the thing is he's unproven, he's untested, and he's been unchallenged.
Absolutely.
in my opinion.
But I mean, as an avid watcher of hockey, you watch these young kids that come in, and some goalies you'll see, and you hear guys going on about them, and you kind of watch their game, and you just don't see that X factor. When I see Demko play, and I see a guy like Shesterkin play from the Rangers, you see that talent. You see the way they move, the way they track the puck, and again, I saw it with Vasilevsky. The way that Vasilevsky tracked the puck and the way he moves side to side, it's like how Carey Price does. Is he not putting him on that level necessarily, but just saying that you can see the movement, the way
Yeah,
that they play.
oh, yeah.
So when I watch Demko, you can see the way he moves, his positioning, and the way that he stops the puck, and those huge saves that he comes out and makes.
The Simon Cowell of talking points, ladies and gentlemen. He can see that X factor. Don't sue us for copyright.
Anyway, Vancouver definitely increased with Holtby there, and I also wanted to point out that I think this seems to be turnkey for Vancouver. I'm gonna go back to when they picked up Luongo, and they had their glory Vancouver days back in like the 2010 area. When they went to the finals against Boston there, and they were winning, and then they lost, right? But anyway, I know.
And we burned down the city.
They picked up Luongo. They picked up Holtby the same time they picked up Luongo, right? When they spend so much time on one team and right in the midpoint of their careers, they start them up on a whole new team. And Vancouver gave Luongo the captaincy, even though it was
not allowed.
It was not allowed, and they still gave it to him. And technically speaking, he did bring them to the finals. And Vancouver is right in the middle of a revival stage. They are going to make the playoffs next year, 100%, and they're going to have a stronger goalie back there, and who has a cup and has a lot of experience.
Which I'll touch base on that, where I feel, having Holtby there is going to help, a goalie like Thatcher Demko, because he is young. He's got a goalie that's going to be, splitting time with him or whatever they decide to do at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. I hope he's not a backup. He's still a number one. He had a rough season this year. Would you shut up?
I think Holtby's production's gone downhill.
Obviously, because he had a bad season. But, he's 2 years removed from winning a cup?
But even when he won the cup, his numbers were down.
Okay, you know what?
But his production in the play, there's some goalies that, during the season they don't necessarily do the best. And that's why you have a backup.
Okay, you know what?
To kind of pick up from
Let's bring a question here that is going to continue on, our episode, but also, stay on topic. For the whole Vancouver argument, right? Mm-hmm. The next Canadian team to win the cup is?
Toronto.
I'm gonna say it will be Toronto.
I think I'm a hardcore.
I firmly believe
Edmonton. I firmly believe that they are the closest. Edmonton, I'm sorry, it will not be because
you just root against Edmonton.
No, that's not the truth. The thing is that Edmonton still has not, in my opinion, made the moves to fix the problems that they've had for years. They still need to fix that defense.
I think Vancouver.
I think they have some good young kids on that defensive core.
I would love to see.
They're still not there.
I think
Edmonton would be smart to go out and really push the money for that Pietrangelo type player because they need that leadership. They need that kind of guy in the lineup. They went out and they re-signed Mike Smith.
Okay,
I love Mike Smith, but he is not going to win them a cup.
Right.
Look what he went out and they blamed him for that one loss against. I can't remember who they played. I think it was Chicago. He got lit up. But when you look at the goals that were getting scored, it's not on Mike Smith. The guy's 40 years old, for fuck's sakes. Like, he's pushing.
I say Vancouver. All right, I strongly say Vancouver simply because the free agency is going to be a long time before the NHL opens again. Vancouver is one Kevin Bieksa away from a Stanley Cup contender.
I think they were right.
Caveman.
What?
To be honest,
straight caveman.
I think that Vancouver was right there.
Yeah.
And I feel like they lost out in free agency bad. Who did they really sign that's really jumps out?
No, they got a core. They're one Kevin Bieksa away.
I think Vancouver should have pushed to keep a guy like Toffoli.
Fuck Toffoli.
And they could have moved a guy like Brock Besser because Brock Besser's. Don't start with me, man. Brock Besser's a good player, but he's movable. And they've already talked about it.
Besser was one of their best.
They have a strong. You know what Vancouver is? Do you know what Vancouver is? Vancouver is exactly that the Matthews and the Nylander and the Marner at their fun prime before do you feel like this extra seriousness in the Leafs? Right?
It's been Leaf hockey for years.
Remember the one year where all three of those players were getting 80 plus points or whatever 5 players got 60 plus points that year. Okay? That was a fun Leaf year. They were having a lot of fun. Vancouver's doing that and they're doing it longer and it looks like that they're going to keep that. I'm telling you. one Kevin Bieksa type of player away defensively. I don't think they're too strong
I'll tell you
defensively.
right now.
And you got Holtby right there. One strong defenseman will put them in at least the conference finals.
Okay, so let's do it again. So I agree with what you said. Pick your two teams, one
Yeah.
East, one West. Who's taking
And comment, who's taking the cup?
who's taking the cup?
And
let's
but
go.
like at the
So,
same time, who is the next Canadian team to win a cup?
I already said Toronto, Edmonton. You're saying Vancouver,
I'm
and
saying Vancouver. You're one team. There's only 7 to pick from. You pick one, not 2, right?
I'm going to say Toronto, and if I have to take a team from the West Canadian, I'm taking Calgary because of that Markstrom move.
you don't want to take it.
I think if they make the right moves to
An East
get
team?
some better defense and
No.
fix their,
No.
You don't want to go for the long shot and
An
say
East-
fucking Ottawa.
Yeah. No. Just it's Vancouver. I'm gonna stick with it, and I think only because Calgary's there. It's just something's not right in Calgary, and I think it's the goalie thing.
It's been the goalie
It's always
problem
look.
for a long time.
No matter what, every single Stanley Cup champion has this really strong goalie, and Vancouver just got it.
Well, hold on. The
That's
New York
it.
Islanders had Glenn Healy one time, and
Did they win?
he did win, but he stood on his head at the end.
It
But
had to be the
Jesus,
80s.
he was
the
rough.
Islanders didn't win in the 90s.
Yeah, it was.
It was
They won 4 years.
4 in a row?
It was 91, wasn't it? That they
No.
won Glenn Healy in that.
no.
Yeah, it was 91. It was 91. Double check it. Check my math.
How much money you got? I'm gonna say no.
I got $5 cash.
$5. $5. Here we go.
$5.
$5. Who won the 1991 Stanley
The
Cup?
Rangers won in 94.
94. 92 was Pittsburgh.
It's 91 or 92. I can't remember which one they won.
No,
They-
92 was Pittsburgh.
Was it 94 Rangers or was it
94?
Montreal won what?
94
Was
Rangers.
it Penguins again?
Penguins again.
Fucking cocksuckers. When did Islanders win?
It was 4 times in the 80s. That's it.
That's
the Mike
it, yeah.
Bossy era.
That's it. Yeah.
Can you double check it?
Yes.
I just wanna
New
know.
York
Yeah, it
Islanders.
was like 82, 83,
Cup wins.
85
Cup
or something like that.
Cup streak was 1980 to 83. But that's 4 though. That's 4. That's 80, 81, 82, and 83.
Alright, where's my wallet?
$5.
I mean, we got a little bit of time. I think we're just gonna. You guys want to quickly pop into future of the NHL, or
Well,
you want to take 5 minutes, or what?
no,
do
no,
have-
no. We're on a roll. We're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Future in the NHL is.
Okay, so hold on. Let's again. We'll start it off with
Give me a question.
a general question.
Yeah.
All right. So, with COVID, with everything that's happening, with Toronto going back to fucking stage 2, shitty as balls, like, you know, with True Dodo Bird leading the country and not letting teams in to come play sports, as we saw with the Blue Jays, what do we predict will be the start time for the next NHL season?
I think they've already said they're
Fucking
pushing.
sick.
They're pushing for a January, pretty much right after Christmas start, and I think that's possible. I think that's a good. I would like to see it before, but obviously that's just me being a selfish bitch. But I think that it's very possible once we get into the new year that it can get there, and I don't see why it can't.
In my opinion, I think under the current pretext of like what Justin Trudeau is saying about like travel bans and this, that, and the other, and we're seeing the current state of things in regards to COVID. Unless there's a vaccine, and I mean mandatory or not, unless there is a vaccine or something to mitigate symptoms and people getting sick and whatnot, I don't think we see hockey until next year. But I have one other thing.
Yes,
which-
in January.
no, like next year is in like September.
No,
Like I think they're gonna
that's-
take almost a full year.
I don't think that's gonna
They
happen.
can't afford it. They
They-
can't
No,
afford it.
I agree. I don't think they can afford it, but
No.
so in my opinion is like, so yeah, we're all saying like you guys are saying January next year, whatever.
Right.
But under what pretext? So for this, my next question is under what pretext do we see hockey sooner? And I was talking with a friend at work, and he brought up a very interesting idea, and I would love to hear your guys' opinion of it. Is create hub cities, divisional hub cities. So there essentially be 4 or 8 hub cities that you have division teams playing division teams.
Right.
And that's how you're going to have
No,
to do your
because-
season.
No, and they're not going to do it that way because you can't sustain business with these teams because I'll tell you right now, you'll have the league go back to what it used to be, where there was 20 teams.
No,
I'm saying like you're gonna lose a lot of teams. Like Arizona, no way in hell are they able to stay in the league.
That's what
Now,
I'm saying.
what I'm saying, like, they're not gonna do that. They've already talked about starting the season in Alberta.
These guys are bringing
Outside.
in. These guys are bringing in a new team. Never mind
Yeah.
on. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They're going forward. They're
But
not going back.
they've talked about starting in Alberta outside.
Mhm.
And it's pretty much just going to be probably no fans, and they're going to play outside, and that's how they're going to start the season, right?
Wow, sorry. Yo, breaking news. Breaking news. The Maple
Aaron
Leaf,
Dell.
the Maple Leaf have signed goaltender Aaron Dell to a 1-year contract of $800,000.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
You heard it here first, kids.
not bad.
I think that's just
It's not
that's
bad.
that's just really a depth move.
It's a backup.
Yeah.
I mean-
unless they were looking to move Freddie.
No.
and,
How
and
much?
use Jack as
If
the starter?
if they fucking traded Freddie right now with the free agent that they signed,
But they might be looking at someone else
It's a
because
mistake.
that could be.
Well, still, how
if
much-
they move Freddie, that frees up $5 million.
How much would you buy? How much would you pay Aaron Dell?
800.
Anything higher? What's the highest you
they'll,
go?
they'll give him. They'll probably give him around $1 million or so.
They gave me 800.
No, you give me.
Is that what you gave me?
Yeah,
You
so I'm
gave me-
saying.
Oh, sorry.
So that's all. There was your genuine answer, right? Just about $1 million. So we save money a little bit there, and I mean that's the cheapest
It's-
you can get.
it's
You
really
can't
a
go-
depth move.
I don't think you can go lower than 775.
Because he was on San Jose.
Yeah.
He was on San Jose.
Yeah.
Because they just
Oh my
got
god,
Dubnyk,
so
they
San
had-
Jose's
they
feeling
just
real fucking frisky with Dubnyk.
Yeah, they
now.
just got Dubnyk too.
Oh yeah, they went.
Well, they got Jones as the backup. Yeah, Jones. Well, they're gonna go to duel.
I think it's gonna be
Anyways,
the
so, sorry.
split.
Oh, that's pretty. Hey, that's fucking live news. Never mind.
I like the live news, but this
Yeah.
isn't a live segment, so I'll have to cut this back into our other talk.
Uh.
But let's go back to the point here is, do we do hub cities? Do we do division
No.
rivals? Do we start outside? Like, what is, so,
I would like. Yeah. Okay. So I know your question.
how
I
do you,
would like to
how would
see.
you like to see it, and then what do you think you'll
Right.
see?
I would like to see basically kind of like the baseball way of doing things. You have your series, right? And you know, we go face Detroit 3 times because we're supposed to face them 3 times, right? That kind of thing. Or even if it's back-to-back games and then they come to our home back-to-back, right? That kind of thing. If you have to process that, I'm sure to keep things even and fair, they would have to dabble into the way the schedule works
Yeah.
and how many games. Maybe we'll lose games or maybe we'll increase them.
See, that might make sense in a way as if they kind of do it as a baseball aspect of a series. You know, instead of again what you're saying, instead of going to Ottawa, then to Buffalo,
yeah,
then
the
to
road,
Detroit,
the road trip
then
dies.
coming back home.
Yeah.
The road trip dies.
So what they'll do is it's you're gonna stay in one city,
Yeah.
which is kind of what you're saying in a way, like a hub city in the sense, but it's your city. But you're gonna go there and play 2 games. They're gonna come to your house and play 2 games. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
Yeah.
gonna be kind of the idea.
Actually, I don't even mind that idea. I actually kind of like that.
I think it's tough because
Okay, listen.
the rivalries would get so
you know what it
almost
is?
overheated.
But that's what I'm saying.
That's the only problem.
That's
because
good. That's good.
But you have to look at
That's
like
good.
a team like Toronto, like Montreal.
Yeah.
Say we usually play them about 4 games in the
4
season.
or 5.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd say 4.
No, what?
4,
Montreal?
you might be right.
I think
4 or
it's-
5.
I think
It
it's
could be
5.
even 6. Like
5,
visit
5.
division rivals. Like we usually play them about 4.
And we'll
4
put
to
him
5,
once in the
right?
preseason.
In your division,
So
you
I
do
mean, if
5.
you're playing
preseason.
5 games in a fucking row against Montreal or Buffalo, you're gonna kill each other
Yeah.
because it's gonna keep getting heated. At least you have that break.
But hold on.
You have sometimes you have a back-to-back. You have
Yeah.
a 1-2. You have a home and home. You know what I mean? And that way you can kind of play.
But you know what?
and then they come back to it later.
Sorry, so actually, I really like this idea. Actually, I really agree with this. And the reason why is because every game that you play against these guys almost becomes a little mini series. So you don't necessarily have to start, Marner, Matthews, this, that, the other, Tavares. You don't have to start your top guys. Like your first game in the series, you can go, you know what? Let's put some kids in. Let's get them going. Let's see what they got. Because think about it, you're playing a 5-game series.
No. That's.
But
that I completely disagree with.
This is what I'm saying though is because obviously to do something like this, we're gonna have to see an increase in games. So
I get that, but
now you're looking at the depth of teams. I think where hockey lacks personally is that AHL NHL connection, because these guys see 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 10 games a season. And then they're expected to jump up next season like, this guy's ready for the NHL. No, he's not.
No, but I'll tell you right
You know,
now, they will not do that because those guys out there, they're making you your money. Do you think a fan wants to see the fucking Marlies come up? And
No,
play?
I
They wanna
understand.
see
I understand what you're
the
saying.
Matthews. They want to see more. They don't care even if they have a shit game. At least they can shit talk.
I
They
understand
want to
what
see
you're
those
saying.
guys out
I
there.
understand what you're saying, but at the same time, is now look at things like even ticket prices will go down. They will be driven down
If there's tickets.
because no, that's what I'm saying. Is but like so say they kept up this model
It's
over.
more like TV views.
No, but
those
think,
are your
think about it.
tickets.
If they kept up this model over the years
At least
and
the
years
beers
and
are
years,
cheaper.
no, over the years and years and years, they kept up this model.
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
one of those things like there's more games, there's more opportunity to go to games. Season ticket prices will spike and regular ticket prices will drop.
Yeah.
And like so, there's more opportunity. Yeah, you might go to a game and like Matthews is on the healthy scratch list, but now again, what you're getting into is now the salary cap gets all fucked up because you've got a guy with $11 million sitting on the fucking bench.
Here's two things that's much more important to the league and the people who run it. One, they have every intention to get back to normal as soon as I would see them pushing governments and getting together and pushing governments simply because all of the star players of the leagues, they are losing a year of their if you play 20 years, you just lost a whole year.
Yeah.
You lost 5% of your career. Everybody, right across the board, including LeBron James, including like Brad Marchand, right? Zdeno Chara still wants to play, right?
God.
So did he retire? No, he didn't.
No.
he didn't. Right? Joe
Well, he
Thornton
hasn't-
still wants to play.
Apparently,
Right.
with him, he hasn't decided what's going on yet.
Well,
Right.
his
So
GM
there's
said, like,
teams-
please.
Okay.
No,
So
the teams
this
are
is-
looking at him, and the other teams want him.
Right, because
So he might actually
he still
lose.
is an asset. That's fine.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is there's expiry. There's time decay. Okay. Then the whole contract bullshit. There's going to be a lot of legalities for each individual contract because there's so much fine print.
Yeah, it doesn't
right?
count as a year.
So does it? Does it not? Whatever. There's going to be so much of that. Then you're going to have just the loss of the opportunity loss on not airing it, not having a league and all that kind of stuff. There is so much relying on the start of normality once again. So I'm sure, at least on the top 4 sports of North America, they are all getting together and they're saying, how the fuck do we make our governments allow this? We all know American government wants to get it back. The Canadian government does not.
Well, hold on. The American government currently, but
Currently, right? And that can change, and that is going, and I'm telling you, that's scary for sports. According to the very current situation in sports, that's scary. That's going to get worse. 67% on average, right across the board, has lost in viewership, and it's not going to get any better. Think about it, just the ties. The problem for most fans, the reason why they love the sport so much is simply because of the continuity. Did I say that right? The continuity.
Continuity.
Right. Wait, one second. As soon as you bring that to a halt, do you know how much harder it is to get people back on? There's a reason why there's oxygen in a casino to keep you there, to keep you awake and alive and thriving. If you turn the
that's why they
oxygen,
don't put
right,
clocks in there.
they give you less and less reasons to leave because once you leave, it's really hard for you to
Yeah,
get
buddy,
to come
alright.
back.
Freudian slip up.
So. Yeah, so the future of the NHL and the future of sports and all is
So sorry, I have a question. So
threatened.
in regards to the American election, what you're trying to say is keep America athletic again?
Well, again, yeah. Sure. Absolutely, yeah.
You heard it here first, folks.
Again.
Keep
yeah.
American athletic again.
Again.
Trump 2020.
Well, the most...
I don't agree with it, but he's saying it.
Well, one second, ask him to say something else. So then Biden 2020.
No, that fucks hockey. I'm not happy about that.
See what I'm saying?
Unless all 7 hub cities are
I'm
in
not-
Canada, in which case
I'm not
for
biting
Florida.
that one.
If Trudeau Dobird will let everyone in to play some hockey in all 7 Canadian cities, I'm about it. Let's see it, Trudeau.
Everyone who's not for...
Come on, True Donkey.
Everyone who's not for Trump 2020, ask them to say the opposite and they can't. That's how you know they are for Trump 2020. Silently. The silent majority.
No, you have to
But
hear
anyway,
me.
we're not going to politics.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. I'm not getting a political
We're
debate.
not
I
going
can't
to
do that.
politics.
I can't do that.
Silent majority.
I disagree, but anyways. So let's wrap it up here. We thank you guys for watching. We are Talking Points Media. My name is Daniel Francis Hernandez. This is Giancarlo Malache and James Miller. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that follow, share it with your friends, your mother, your sister, your brothers, whoever's in your family. Your friends you don't like, your friends you do like, just make sure you send it out to all of them because they need to learn. Just make sure they know, make sure they learn, and make sure you keep talking points, baby.
Yeah. Peace.
Peace!